What's up guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video guys, we're going to go through high ticket sales for e-commerce clients, how to sign on high ticket e-commerce clients. There's a few things that I want to cover, and obviously you guys would have seen in a previous video, actually the one right before this video, I signed on a $7,500 per month e-commerce client, right? So obviously in order to sign him on, we had to go around things in a certain way. So as I say, in this video, I want to relay exactly how I personally go about high ticket sales for e-commerce. As always guys, before we jump into the video, make sure you go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And with that being said, let's dive straight into it. First things first, this is a concept that I have previously explained on the channel, but I want to reiterate it because it's so important. As I say, first things first is that you must, it's a necessity that you position your service as a solution to their problem. And that kind of also ties in with positioning it in a way that they see value in your service. Again, as I've already mentioned, if you try and sell a client based on the ROAS your service can bring, however, that client massively values communication, that client simply won't see any value in your service because what they really value, they cannot see in your service. Okay, so you need to be making sure that you pick apart where their values lie, and you do that by listening to what they're saying. Clients tell you a lot of, or not clients just yet, at least prospects. Prospects tell you a lot of things. However, if you don't listen, if you don't pick up on what they're telling you, then you're just going to be very scripted. You're just going to read the next line in the script, and it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. However, when you listen to what the client tells you, as I say, there's a lot of things that you can pick up on, and then you can then leverage what they say. When it comes to the closing part of the script, when it comes to the closing part of the sales call, you can leverage what they've said and position your service to suit that specific client perfectly. Because at the end of the day, you're not, you need to understand that you're not selling a Facebook ad service. You're not selling a Google ad service or an email marketing service. That's not what you're selling at the end of the day. And that may be somewhat contrary to popular belief, but that's, as I say, at the end of the day, that is not what you're selling. Rather, what you're selling is a solution to a business's problem. In this case, you're selling a solution to a problem that an e-commerce brand has. Now that problem is going to differ between each and every client you speak with, right? For the most part, it's going to be one of maybe 3 to 5 things, right? Because for the most part, every e-com brand has somewhat the same problems, right? Whether it be lack of, revenue, whether it be lack of profitability, whether it be lack of, maybe they're working with an agency and they just don't like how they operate. So it's like, they're just not happy with what they're currently doing. It's gonna be one of a few things. However, it is going to differ. Not every single e-com brand cares about ROAS. Not every single e-com brand cares about communication. There's some clients, at least on my client roster, that they really don't care about communication. All they care about is to see results. And then other clients obviously care about results, but they really value communication. They love the fact that they can message, put a message in the Slack channel with us, and either myself or my team member will respond in anywhere from 6 to 8 hours max. For the most part, it's going to be within the hour, okay? They love that. So they need to be sold different, or they were sold when I did sell them. They were sold differently than a client who doesn't really care about anything other than results. So as I say, you must understand what the specific client you're speaking with, what they value. And this is something that's not too important when you're selling a $1,000 service, a $1,500, maybe even a $2,000 service. It's not that important because such a low ticket service fee, right? I mean, when you go to the shop, it's slightly different dynamic, but you see what I mean. Like when you go to the shops, you don't need to see an exponential amount of value in the milk that you buy, for example. You know what I mean? Because it's a lower ticket service. And in the agency world, a $1,000 service fee is very small. So you don't really need to focus on this, on making sure that your service is positioned in a way that suits the client's values, and it really it's just very evident that it suits their needs. It's not that important at that price point. However, when you start looking at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per month service fees, You must be positioning your service as a just 100% solution to their biggest problem. And the way that you do that, as I said, is by listening to what they say, pick up on the things that they tell you, and then start to leverage those things throughout the rest of the sales call. So that's the first thing. Next thing is that for e-commerce, you must use an e-commerce specific sales script. Okay, because as I said, there's so many sales scripts out there for SMMA, all these different programs got all these different scripts. But if you try and use a local lead gen sales script, you try and use a local lead gen sales script for an e-commerce brand, you are going to look so stupid, okay? And that's just the reality of it. You cannot use a local lead gen script that you could sell, say, a gym client with. You simply cannot use that for e-commerce, because not only is the industry just completely different, but the entire business model, like the entire dynamic of the business, is literally complete opposite. There's no human to human interaction. There's no handing over money. There's no handshaking. For the most part, there is literally no interaction on any level, because it's all online, right? So those owners, e-com owners, again, tying in with my first point, they value different things, right? In the local lead gen niche, their entire business has been built off the back of handshaking. It's been built off the back of face-to-face interaction. E-commerce, there's literally none of that. So they value different things, so you need to sell them differently. In order to sell them differently, you cannot just simply somewhat mold a local lead gen sales script and turn it into an e-com script. You can't do it. Granted, you can take the general structure, because really the general structure of any sales situation is basically identical, but the actual kind of, the paragraphs and the word for word, line by line type stuff, you cannot mold for e-commerce, okay? Rather, you need to make it a lot more e-com specific. But as I say, if you've been doing that and you're struggling to sign clients, it's probably because of that reason. You're trying to leverage a local lead gen sales script, and you're trying to make it work for e-commerce, and it's simply not going to work, okay? You need to understand that, the way that you run the ads is entirely different. The previous marketing methods that the e-com brands have been doing is so different to local lead gen. For example, I've seen so many sales scripts where the sales script is speaking about billboard advertising and why that doesn't work, rather why online marketing works. If you say that to an e-com owner, it literally has no significance to them, because they've never ever ran a billboard ad before. So if you go ahead and say, obviously you're not going to say it this direct, but in so many words, if you go ahead and say something like, don't do billboard ads, do online marketing, it's going to have no significant, it's not going to have a significant impact on them, because they would be thinking to themselves, I've never ran a billboard ad before. They've never done it, so you can't mold that in. You have to change it. So for example, in the sales script that's in the program, the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, the sales script that's in there, instead of saying something along the lines of, don't do billboard ads, do Facebook marketing. Obviously, as I say, we don't do that. Rather, something that I do say is, for example, just use another online marketing method. For example, again, in the program, I literally say, don't do influencer marketing, do Facebook marketing, do Facebook ads, run Facebook ads for your e-com brand. You need to change it up, because otherwise it's just not going to make sense. A lot of e-com brands do influencer marketing. Okay, so I kind of strip that back and say, don't do that because of X, Y, and Z. Rather do this because of X, Y, and Z. This is so much better. And then you can, that kind of sets you up to then go ahead and sell them on Facebook marketing. I hope that makes sense. I hope you can see why you just cannot mold a local lead gen sales script into e-com. It just will not work, because it's like you trying to mold a sales script that you would sell a house with. It's like you trying to mold that and try and sell a golf club with. You know what I mean? It's just so different. It literally has nothing's the same, right? It's so different. The entire dynamic of both businesses are so different, so you just cannot sell in the same way. And as I say, local lead gen and ecom follow those same traits. Maybe not to the extent of a house and a golf club. They were just two random things that came off the top of my head. Maybe not to the extent of that, but you guys get what I mean. You must tailor your script to make it e-commerce specific. And because this is a video based around high ticket e-commerce sales, I want to finish on this note. You must realize that the retainer that you charge, the actual service fee that you charge, the automatic monthly flat fee that you charge, doesn't always need to be high ticket. And what I mean by, it doesn't always need to be high ticket in order to have a high ticket client. And what I mean by that is the fact that, perfect example, in my previous video where I talked about the $7,500 ecom client case study, their actual flat fee isn't high ticket. Rather, they become a high ticket client because I have something called a ROAS deal in place, which is where I charge a percentage of the amount of revenue that I bring in. So however much I bring them in terms of purchase conversion value, however much I bring them in that number, minus the ad spend, there's gonna be a difference. Obviously, if you're profitable, there's gonna be a difference. That difference, I charge a percentage of that amount each and every month. And so that, for the most part, for most clients that are on ROAS deals, that number is actually higher than the service fee. So in order to sell them, because they only pay that bigger number once they've made a lot more money, because of that kind of dynamic of that payment structure, you naturally, it'll be so much easier for you to get high ticket clients, because from face value, there's not as much that they need to commit to. Instead of them committing to, say for example, an $8,000 per month service fee, they don't need to commit to that. Rather, they only commit to a $3,000 per month service fee, which is a lot easier for somebody to commit to. However, they're still paying maybe $8,000 per month if you can get them good results. It's just that, if you don't make them any results, if you don't generate them any results, then they don't pay it. So the level of commitment that they have to give is so much smaller, which increases your chances of signing them on. So remember, that's something that I've just started doing. And if you're just starting out and you don't really know how valuable your service is, meaning how good the results are that you can generate clients, I wouldn't recommend going down this route. I'd rather you just charge a flat fee and just charge a flat fee. And then once you've got a couple clients, you can see that you consistently generate amazing results for those clients, then you can start to leverage that. And as I say, do ROAS based deals, because that is going to massively bump your retainer. But again, it all comes down to the fact of whether you can actually generate the results at the end of the day. Because if you don't generate the results, then there's no number there for you to charge a percentage of, right? So like if you do 10% of $200, for example, if that's all you can generate them in terms of profit, 10% of $200 is a lot lower than 10% of 20,000. Okay, so I hope you can see what I mean by that. So basically, the bigger results you can generate them, the more money you can make. However, when you're starting out, you don't know the size of the results you can generate, so I recommend doing a flat fee. But if you know you're super confident in your service, go ahead, start leveraging ROAS deals, because that is going to literally take somebody who's a super small client. That's gonna be the one thing that really, if somebody's gonna sign on for $3,000 per month, if a client's gonna sign on for $3,000 per month, I can almost guarantee you that they will sign on for $3,000 per month plus 15% of ROAS. I can almost guarantee it 95% of the time. If someone's gonna sign on for $3,000 a month, they'll sign on for $3,000 a month plus 15% ROAS, because that 15% ROAS, they only pay once you've generated them results. So it's a no-brainer, right? But only charge that once you know the value of your service. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can see just really how easy it is, especially in the e-com space, in the e-com niche, because of the ridiculous amount of results you can generate clients, as well as just the crazy high cash flow. I hope now that you can see just how easy it really is to get high ticket e-commerce clients. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, any questions, any problems, drop it in the comment section. I'm going to be in there. I'm always in the comment section answering everybody's questions, problems, etc. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video.